Hi, Vincent.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so um first thing that we have to do is add the new rules that we thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Um Wait, I'm looking. I know I wrote. Oh, maybe I didn't write it down. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe I wrote down. Okay, I thought I had something written down, but I don't. Um okay, hold on. Let me get into
Take your time.
secular Koranism. Um, okay, got it. Actually, I was just looking. You did get quite a number of views today. I was looking. Oh, yesterday. Oh, wow. Yesterday you got 190 views
No, for what? Sorry.
for your blog, Secular Koranism. You got 190 views.
Oh. Oh gosh. Well, yes, I'm still trying to promote it. That's very nice. In just one day, huh? Wow.
190 in one day. That's really good. That's really
Yes,
good.
I think it's because I hate it so much.
Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. Um, okay. So I know there's one thing that, okay, so no usury. Okay, wait, one thing that we need to figure, okay. The state will maintain a registry of all citizens and identify them by their religions or lack thereof for the purpose of tracking statistics on social tendencies such as excellence in education or criminal behavior. Lists are created by having citizens who are neither Christian nor Jewish, Muslim, Hindus, Buddhists, etc. self-identify their religion. Orthodox Jews must be confirmed as practicing Orthodox Judaism and not breaking any of the 36 offenses of the Torah, such as failing to keep the Sabbath, to remain on the Orthodox registry list. Let's just say what their observance is determined um, by um, okay, their observance their observance is confirmed. Hold on one. Their observance is confirmed. Okay, wait. To remain on the Orthodox Jewish registry list, their observance is confirmed by um, Orthodox um, Orthodox Orthodox rabbis is confirmed by what is it confirmed by Orthodox rabbis? Observance is confirmed by. Should it be a committee of Orthodox rabbis, or you just want the Orthodox rabbis of the synagogues
that they go to? That'll do.
Okay. Observance is confirmed by an Orthodox rabbi at the
Jews' local synagogue, because they have to. Yeah, they have to walk there. It's all got to be in walking distance and blah blah. So they're not allowed to go. Live in the suburbs and drive on the Sabbath. That's what they're really strict about. But Reformed Jews are not. Well, they don't count. They're all unjewed.
Okay, wait. The state will maintain a blah, 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 blah. Oh, I hate that. I can't spell, and I don't have spell check. This should come with spell check. I did spell synagogue correctly. Why is it saying? List their observance is confirmed by an Orthodox rabbi at the observant Jew synagogue. At
the Orthodox synagogue, because we're basically saying Reform Jews don't count because they're too free and easy with their interpretation of the Torah, and they basically allow everything in order to try and fit in with the Gentile and his liberal ways. So that's why you have lots of Jews now who call themselves well, they also get married and stuff.
Jews who do not adhere to Orthodoxy or who break any of the 36 capital offenses are placed on a heretical Jewish list. Christians are identified by their church in which they are confirmed or baptized, not by self-identification. Christians not confirmed or baptized in any church are listed as non-denominational Christian Sheilaism. There was also to be an atheist, agnostic, and non-theist list. And do you still want? Okay, so right now the way it works, if you're not a Christian or not a Jew, if you're a Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, or anything else, even like Shinto, it's self-identification. Before you were telling me you wanted a specialist of minority religions, and do you want to overcomplicate it like that, or do you just want them to self-identify?
The people who can self-identify are Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists, but
What
not
about
Christians
Shintos?
and Jews, because
What about Shintos and Taoists? What about
yeah,
Shintos and
they
Taoists?
self-identify. We don't really care about them.
Okay, they can self-identify. You don't want to. Okay, because before you were trying to complicate it, and I got mad at you about you were trying to make a minorities religion list. Okay, the state is to encourage rabbis to rank the 4 Gentile religions: Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, according to the conformity to the Noahide laws. Blasphemy is protected. The Quran prescribes no punishment for blasphemy. No freedom. There's freedom of religion. No dietary or alcohol restrictions beyond. I'm going to add beyond the Noahide command not to eat living animals, not to eat or cut flesh from living animals. Okay, because there are obviously no dietary or no, let's just say no religious dietary or alcohol prohibitions beyond the let's just say except the Noahide command not to eat or cut flesh from living animals. Okay, wait. Okay, not to eat animals alive or eat flesh cut from their body while they were still living. Okay. Non-religious dietary or alcohol prohibitions except the no high command not to eat animals alive or eat flesh cut from the body while they were still living.
Not sure why you're
Okay.
mentioning the no hide laws. Did we talk about the no hide laws last
You already
time?
did. Yeah, the state is
Okay.
to encourage rabbis to rank the four major Gentile religions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just could remember. Okay. Thank
Okay, yeah,
you.
we already mentioned the no-hide laws. Then, yeah, okay, so we updated that. Now, I mean, do you want to add, like, to make it, okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Nope, that's not what I want. Great, got it. Do you want to add, I mean, to the definition, do you want to add things like, hold on. What did we say? Like, do you want to add things like the A and B schools and the for the
Yes.
elder what?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we're going to say there is a three-tier there's a three-tier schooling system based upon parental virtue. Based upon parental virtue, children from married parents go to A schools. Go to A schools. Children of repentant unmarried parents go to B plus. I don't know how to B plus schools. B plus schools, and children of unrepentant married parents go to B school. Let's just say, education standards are equal at all schools, but education standards at all schools are equal at all schools. Okay, education standards are equal at all schools, and they all get equal funding. Equal funding. The division is to keep the children of stable families in one group, but okay, no, that's not what I want to say. School, and they get all equal funding. The division is about parental virtue, not quality of education. Okay, wait, there's a three-tier schooling system based upon parental virtue. Children from married parents go to A schools. Children from repentant unmarried parents go to B plus schools, and children of unrepentant married parents go to B school. Education standards are equal at all schools, and they all get equal funding. The division is about parental virtue, not quality of education. Do you want to add? Hold on.
I did mention to you another Another register, a register of converts.
A
I thought
register of converts to what?
for anyone who changes their religion
A
would be on that
separate,
register.
okay. So we'll say agnosis and non-theist. Okay, on on the citizens okay, on the citizen there is also a separate list kept of all citizens who are converts to other religions. Okay, so what about the childless elderly? We can say, well, instead of saying childless elderly, why don't we just say elderly elderly those who are elderly and unable to take care of themselves?
Yes.
Okay. Those who are elderly and who become dependent upon the state can
Can I stop you there? Just because
yeah.
you've given me a few ideas because of what you were saying. Because, um, I mean, you could be married. You could have done all the right things, got married, had legitimate children, but you could still be abandoned. So I'm thinking of yeah. Well, what are you going to call them? Elderly with no one to look. Elderly without offspring. Uh, elderly
Elderly,
without.
I was just going to say elderly people who are unable to take care of themselves, or elderly people who are unable to take care of themselves financially, because you don't want like cripples up there, because if you say unable to take care of yourself, you can be retarded, you could be schizophrenic, you can be crippled. You don't want those people up, obviously forcing them to, or asking them to do that for. So I was just going to say, those who are elderly, would you like to add an age, like 65 plus?
No. I'm just waiting for you to hear your definition.
Okay, would you like to add an age, though, of elderly? Would you like to determine, or do you want them to come up with an age?
Yeah, I'll let them come up with an age,
Okay.
really, because I
So,
mean we're talking about elderly people who have no offspring and can't, who need special accommodation, or
okay.
or sheltered accommodation as they call it here. I'm sort of a bit vague now about the purpose of it.
What do you mean?
I mean, I can't remember why I talked about them, or what did we say about them in our pamphlets.
Well, it's so those who are elderly and who become dependent upon, oh no, because they're not dependent upon the state, they would, okay, those who are elder,
Vulnerable elderly, the
okay,
vulnerable elderly.
okay, how about we say those who are those who are elderly and who those who are elderly and unable to financially take care of themselves, but who are also unable to enter, but who are also unfit to enter the state's slavery system.
Oh, the living exhibits idea. Okay, now
Yes,
I remember.
yeah. those who are elderly and unable to financially take care of themselves, but who are also unfit to enter the state slavery system.
Become living exhibits in social history museums.
Okay, are encouraged. I mean, you can't force them, so can we say they're encouraged?
Yes. But I think there is some exchange because they would, kind of live near these social history, but because you're having to provide accommodation for them, right?
Okay, all right, okay.
So I mean, they have to kind of do it.
Okay, how would we say those who are elderly and unable to financially take care of themselves, but who are also unfit to enter the slavery system, can receive accommodations and can receive, let's just say, A level accommodations. System can receive A level accommodations. Hold on. A level accommodations if they let's just say A level accommodations if they agree to become living exhibits in history, in museums of history and history, sociology, and psychology.
Yes.
And psychology. Those who refuse will get B level accommodations, which provide fewer amenities. Okay. Those who are elderly and unable to financially care for themselves, but who are also unfit to enter the state slavery system, can receive A level accommodations. A level accommodations if how do you spell accommodations? I hate this.
2 C's, 2 M's.
Hold on. Okay, I didn't know it was 2 M's. How would you know it's 2 M's?
Because I spell it quite often. It's one of the words I sort of know.
Accommodations if they agree to become living exhibits in museums of history, sociology, and
psychology.
Psychology. Those who refuse will get. Those who refuse or who are unable to perform the task will get B level accommodations, which provides fewer amenities. How do you spell amenities?
AMENITIES.
AMENTIES.
Yes.
No, wait. I didn't wait. Amenities.
Amen. Itties.
Itties. Amenities, which provide fewer amenities and receive less state funding.
Well, you could say it in this way: those who are who agree to be living exhibits will receive superior accommodation to those who do not agree.
Yeah,
It,
A level accommodations if they okay. Um, take care of themselves, but who are also unfit to enter the state slavery system can receive A-level accommodations if they agree to become living exhibits in museums of history, sociology, and psychology. Let's just say they are provided superior housing in near psychology. They're provided superior housing in the vicinity of the museum they work at. How do you spell this? A vicinity they work at. Those who refuse or are unable.
vicinity.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, they are provided superior housing in the vicinity. Um, those who refuse or who are unable to perform the tasks will get B-level accommodations, which provides fewer amenities and receives less state funding.
Okay. I mean, I was just going to make it sort of, easy, like superior accommodation, and then just leave it at that.
Or can get A-level accommodations if they agree to become living exhibits in museums of history, psychology, and sociology and psychology. They are provided superior housing in the vicinity of the museum they work at. Those who refuse or are unable to perform the task will get B-level accommodations, which provides fewer amenities and receives less state funding.
Hmm.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue. You want your Department of Wisdom?
Yes, because we
Okay.
need to be able to define it in order to recognize it and promote it and encourage it.
Okay. A Department of Wisdom, let's say, okay, here, this is really good. A Department of Wisdom must be created to okay, a Department of Wisdom must be created to determine the most wise people in each age group. For example, 18 to 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 65, 65 plus. Most wise people in each age group. Okay, a Department of Wisdom must be created to determine the most wise people in each age group. For example, 18, okay. Um, okay. The, the, the department the department will test um, um, willing citizens who apply the department will test willing citizens who apply on measures on problem solving skills. across 5 domains: logic, math, human needs, political issues, and morality. Ranking participations by wisdom scores within age categories. Good?
Yes. Yes,
The
that
Department
sounds
of
good.
the Department of Wisdom must be created to determine the most wise people in each age group. The department will test willing citizens who apply. The department will test willing citizens who apply on problem-solving skills across 5 domains: logic, math, human needs, political issues, and morality, ranking participants by wisdom scores within each category. Okay, we got the Department of Wisdom. Do you want to add the part that the government will only officially celebrate Jewish holidays?
Um, I think so. I think so because it's all about using the Jewish calendar, right? And because it's lunisolar, and and I sort of feel I have to do it to annoy the Muslims
Okay, so
whose silly calendar
the
needs
first rule
sorting out.
is the government will use the Jewish religious calendar.
To discourage anti-Semitism, because if everybody is celebrating these holidays, they're not going to be, otherizing Jews.
The government will use the Jewish religious calendar. Part of the reason for this is to reduce anti-Semitism. Okay, then we're going to say the government will only create state holidays for Jewish religions, for Jewish festivals. Wait,
But it's not going to stop. Yes.
Okay, the government will only create state state rest days. No. Okay, the government will only cease to operate on. No, let's just say. The government will provide days off only. No, I want to be fairly okay. The government will enact the government will only create state holidays for Jewish festivals.
Yes, the government will only celebrate. It's kind of it sounds sort of kind of compulsory, and I guess I wish to avoid that. But obviously, if you're using the Jewish calendar already, these things just sort of naturally come up, like, oh, it's Hanukkah or whatever it is. And before we move on from the subject, I just wanted to mention Tisha B'Av, which is actually their month of fasting. I know they also fast on other days as well, but Tisha B'Av is a month of what does it say? It's a day of mourning and fasting in Judaism, and it falls on a particular month, which is the month of Av, right? So So I know the Muslims go on like, oh, we have a day, we have a month of fasting, and and they're going to say it's Ramadan, but the Jews, in case the Muslims complain, there's no need to include it in your thing, but I just thought I'd mention it as a way of reminding myself. Yeah, just ignore me now.
Okay, the government will only create state holidays for Jewish festivals. Um, okay, the government will only create state holidays for Jewish festivals. Okay, this is to encourage non-Jews to give up their holidays, or no, I don't. What did you? Because I know you wanted the Muslims to break up their Ramadan fast.
Yeah, because we can't have a whole month of fasting with Muslims, going, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, which would disrupt, their ability to work. So, and also it's silly because every year the Ramadan that they celebrate is 10 days later than the previous year. It's earlier or later, I can't remember now. But because of the lunar calendar, you will have Ramadan in any month of the year, which is fine. When it falls in the winter months, because then the days are short. In certain countries, but in the southern, in a different hemisphere, it will be the opposite of that. So I mean, it just makes it very awkward. And a whole month of fasting is not necessary. And the Jews kind of break it up like, yeah, we're going to fast on Yom Kippur and also on Tisha B'Av, and and they fast for 25 hours. So it's like, yes, that's fine, just do it like that, and it won't be too disruptive, unlike Ramadan. If you want to, I mean, nobody's forced to do anything.
Okay, so you want the government to encourage this?
Yeah, because these Jewish festivals are kind of seasonal, right? So instead of us having to invent some autumnal festival or some spring or winter or summer festival, it's already there, right? And it's sort of faintly religious. It's somewhat biblical, and I think the Jews, Christians, and Muslims can at least agree that, oh yeah, it's a Bible, it's Moses and the Torah and stuff like that. And hopefully they won't, argue about it too much. Because all these Jewish festivals, like, oh, that was when Moses got the Torah on Mount Sinai, and this was whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's always something to do with them. But if people who are supposedly Christian, who have incorporated the Tanakh into their holy Bible, it shouldn't be a problem. Because it's basically just remembering all the stuff that Moses did, and the adventures he had in his 40 years of wandering and stuff, and all the other stuff about Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. They say sorry to people, and then they renew their vows to God after cancelling that. I think it's tending to make people more contemplative and thoughtful about their past decisions. So I think this should be encouraged.
Should we add no gun control? Should we add no gun control?
I don't really want to say anything about gun control because I know it's a touchy subject with you guys. I guess for other countries, people already accept that they don't have the Second Amendment. I don't think we need to, go out of our way to make things more controversial than they already are. Do you have any settled views on gun control?
No, I don't think we should have gun. I think we should have gun control. We need guns. Okay, but wait. The government will use Jewish religious calendar. Part of the reason for this is to reduce anti-Semitism. The government will only create state holidays for Jewish festivals. This is to encourage non-Jews, to forego their Gentile holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
The government will only create state holidays for Jewish festivals. This is to encourage non-Jews to forego their Gentile holidays. Let's see. You want the
But
government. Hmm?
carry on.
You want the government to encourage Muslims to break up Ramadan?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. But I mean,
The
I don't want Christians to think, Christmas is going to be cancelled or whatever. It's like, yeah, you celebrate your thing, but don't expect everybody else to do it.
Yeah, this is to encourage non-Jews to forego their Gentile holidays. Um, the government should discourage Muslims from observing Ramadan observing Ramadan fasting in the traditional manner, as
Which is a whole month or 28 days, right? So we're going to
yeah.
say if you really want to do it in your own day, just do it in your own time. Do it on your holidays or weekends, but don't come to work and look all flaked out because you haven't eaten.
Okay. The government should discourage Muslims from observing Ramadan fasting in the traditional manner, as not eating during the day for a month um, causes disruptions in society, such as inability inability to perform up to standards in the workplace. Okay, the government should discourage Muslims from observing Ramadan fasting in the traditional manner, as not eating during the day for a month causes disruptions in society, such as inability to perform up to standards in the workplace. Muslims will be encouraged to break up their fast over the year and only fast on their days off or on other holidays. Fast on their days off. Okay. Such as Muslims will be encouraged to break up their fast over the year and only fast on their days off. Okay. Um, Hold on. Didn't you make? You want the male hierarchy of virtue: married fathers, non-parent males, unmarried fathers. Hello?
Yes, yes.
Do you want the
Um,
hierarchy of male virtue?
oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Um,
And female virtue.
okay, do you really? Married fathers, priority in state jobs, tax credits, public honors on state TV, children attend A schools. Neutral status. Um, Um, so what the government is going to encourage the recognition of a wait. The government will recognize a virtue hierarchy system where married parents are considered the most virtuous, unmarried childless childless unmarried um, childless unmarried people, and then people who have had children out of wedlock. So there's unmarried parents, married parents, childless 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 people, including, what about married childless people who have no children?
Well, the hierarchy is married parents privileged over non-parents who, yeah, and that's it. I think that's simple enough, isn't it?
I know, but what about married parents? What about married people without children? Are they in the top tier or no?
Well, they would be between the married parents and the non-parents,
Okay.
and the
So,
single people. Yeah.
okay. The government will officially recognize a virtue hierarchy system where married parents are considered most virtuous, then those who are married but childless, then those who are unmarried and childless, and at and finally those who are unmarried and had children out of wedlock. The government will officially recognize a virtue hierarchy system where married parents are considered more virtuous, considered most virtuous, then those who are married but childless, then those who are unmarried and childless, and finally those who are unmarried and had children out of wedlock. This is getting very
Authoritarian and regimented.
Oh, you want your registry of dissidents?
Yes. Well, I actually don't understand why we have to do it again. And you make me. You're trying to make me leave out certain things. Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to say there will be a registry of dissidents who are given
A platform.
given a state platform to air their grievances
Mm-hmm.
And make their case.
That's right.
There will be dissidents who are given a state platform to air their grievances and make their case. Okay.
Yes. I think that's important. I mean, to make everybody feel that, they've all got a voice and that there are official ways of, making their views known.
You want your adolescent work service?
I'm kind of happy to give that one up.
What?
I suppose I'm not that attached to it.
Okay. Do you want your registry of races?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Do you want to include the stuff about beyondism or no?
Up to you. You're the
No,
beyond it.
no, it's up to you. This is you have to make it, this is where it's your definition. Be careful because it's going to spit out whatever you put into it.
Well, I'll include it because I know you're a beyondist and you've been so helpful.
Are you
And
sure?
I quite like the idea anyway of, keeping tabs on
Okay.
all these different groups to see how they fare.
Okay. The government shall adopt Raymond Cattell's beyondism philosophy in that it will provide each citizen with a race code for the purpose of keeping track of statistics on performances such as crime statistics.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. The government shall adopt Raymond Cattell's beyondist philosophy in that it will provide each citizen with a race code for the purpose of keeping track of statistics on performances such as crime statistics. The government will use Britain Police IC codes. Performance. The government will use Britain's police IC codes to label each citizen. Label each citizen. Citizens do not self-identify. The government provides the government determines which IC code applies through government inquiry, through government assessment.
Yes. That's
The
right.
government shall adopt Raymond Cattell's beyondist philosophy in that it will provide each citizen with a race code for the purpose of keeping track of statistics and performances, such as crime statistics. The government will use Britain's IC codes to label each citizen. Citizens do not self-identify. Self-identify. Self-identify is a hyphen, right? Self-identify.
Mm-hmm.
Do not self-identify. The government determines which IC code applies through government assessment. Okay, we have that. Oh, you had this. Oh, this one's complicated. You had socialized healthcare and secular Koranism medical plan.
Oh, leave those out.
Okay. You want your Department of Complaints and Suggestions?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes. I think it's
Um.
important to kind of make people feel listened to.
Okay. There must be the government must have a Department of Complaints and Suggestions. Um, okay. Um, okay, this one's also complicated. Do you want your thing about divorce proceedings that you have to go through the different courts?
Um, what is actually the point of doing it a third time? And I didn't quite understand. I sort of think it's quite important for people to understand that maybe, we don't need to go through the complexities of it, perhaps.
No, well, you want to give them exactly what you want them to do. You want them to give them the step by step. Okay, this is how I want my government to run.
Yeah. So I think the divorce courts are important, but I don't understand why we have to do it a third time. I still don't.
Because we're going to make a new manifesto. We're updating the manifesto. We're updating the political party. We're updating everything. It's like we made version 1, and then we made version 2, and now we're going to make version 3.
Okay. Um, so the divorce courts would be, is it, it's a ceremonial wrist slapping thing, is it?
Okay, the first one is warning, bed separation, ceremonial wrist slapping, matrimonial disputes, tribunal, first stop conciliation mediation, matrimonial disputes appeal tribunal, second chance appeals and deeper review, divorce court. So first you have, okay, so the process of divorce is you must go through a three-phase warning process, a verbal warning, bed separation, ceremonial wrist slapping. And then if that doesn't work, you go to a matrimonial disputes tribunal for conciliation and mediation. If that doesn't work, you go to a matrimonial disputes appeal tribunal. If that doesn't work, you go to the divorce court.
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
think that's quite important.
Okay, so the first
Can
thing,
you cut and paste it or not really?
no, but I was just saying that out loud. And okay, so the first, I want to make them two separate rules. Okay. The provision for men to discipline their wives per Quranic rule is that first he must warn her verbally, then he must sleep in a different bed than her. And if that does not work, he not work, there is a ceremonial wrist slapping done 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 before a court, or what did you say? You want to invite relatives over for this wrist slapping?
Yes.
And if that
So,
does not work, there's a
then you
ceremonial
go,
wrist slap.
yeah, then
Okay,
they go
so
to
how
the
about,
tribunal.
okay, then he must sleep in a different bed than her. And if that does not work, there is a ceremonial wrist slapping done before witnesses.
Yes.
Okay. The procedure for divorce is first, the husband must go through the 3 phases of disciplining his wife. We're going to say verbal warning, bed separation, and then we're going to say wrist slapping. Okay, the procedure for divorce is first the husband must go through 3 phases through the 3 phases of disciplining his wife. Okay, then we're going to say if that does not resolve the marital dispute, the couple appear before a matrimonial disputes tribunal,
Mm-hmm.
which encourages reconciliation. If that fails, there is a matrimonial disputes
Appeal
matrimonial
tribunal.
appeals tribunal, which is a second attempt at reconciliation. And if that fails, there is finally if that fails, the couple finally appears before a divorce court,
Yes.
which will determine if the marriage can be dissolved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The procedure for divorce is first the husband must go through the 3 phases of disciplining his wife, verbal warning, bed separation, wrist slapping. If that does not resolve the marital dispute, the couple appear before a matrimonial disputes tribunal, which encourages reconciliation. If that fails, there is a matrimonial disputes appeal tribunal, which is a second attempt at reconciliation. And if that fails, the couple finally appears before a divorce court, which will determine if the marriage can be dissolved.
Yes.
Okay. We got that. You want that? Okay. Okay. Gambling debts are not
Legal contracts.
legal contracts and are not recognized by the state. Anyone who gambles at their own risk as the gambling process only relies upon okay, anyone who gambles at their own risk, because if someone fails to pay their debt, they cannot be brought to court.
Yes, the court will refuse to enforce it because it's an illegal contract.
Fails to pay their debt, the court cannot order payment. Okay. Gambling debts are not legal contracts and are not recognized by the state. Anyone who gambles at their own risk because if someone fails to pay their debt, the court cannot order payment. Who's here? Claire, you are dictator. All hail Claire. Claire Uber alleles. Okay.
Well, yes.
Who is that?
It's Mike Malzahn.
Oh. Okay, we got oh, I know. Upon the birth of each child, the father is given a free DNA test of the child to ensure he is the father. Upon the birth of each child, the father is given a free DNA test of the child to ensure he is the father. You want abortion to be legal? We have one on abortion.
Well, maybe it's a bit complicated, but actually, I can't remember what I said now. Did I say people who want an abortion have to be lashed 100 times if they're not married?
I don't know.
Maybe I should leave it. Maybe I should just leave it.
You mean you don't want to add anything about abortion?
Well, actually, I can't remember what I said.
Well, what's your policy on abortion?
I don't want to criminalize it, I guess, but I'm kind of a bit floppy about it. Oh yeah, I can use a search box, abortion, to see what I said about it, because I can't remember. Oh yes, pamphlet inquiry on abortion. Yeah, it's just a question: should it be banned? I think we can. You can't remember it, can you?
What is it? Shouldn't it be that abortion is legal? Abortion is legal, but abortion is legal, but it leads to 100 lashes in public.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Abortion is legal, but leads to 100 lashes in public for both parents. Abortion is legal, but leads to 100 lashes in public for both parents.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage Bureau.
Gosh, we have so much stuff. But yes, I think it's important because we need to show people that they're going to be helped to find their long-term partner, and also you can acquire quite a lot of data on these interactions too, which will help your beyondism, so you can track them. But I guess you're trying to look for kind of one sentence summaries of that.
Well, this pamphlet has a lot. I mean, so you want in this pamphlet, the marriage does gender role classes, marriage counseling, genetic testing for hereditary diseases, personality compatibility, defining mandatory marriage contracts, principled alignment testing, medical examinations for physical and mental health.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite a lot to sum up, isn't it? Um, I mean, can you just say, you just mentioned government marriage bureaus to help people marry, and be done with it. I mean, we don't have to state every single thing, do we? Oh, no.
That's probably best.
Okay, we can do that if you want.
Okay, so we're going to say the government will establish marriage bureaus bureaus to provide classes on
Marriageability.
gender roles. Where to go? Gender roles on classes on gender roles, marriage counseling. Genetic testing for hereditary diseases. Personality assessment. Principal alignment. Wait, do we have a okay? Um, the government will establish a marriage bureau to provide classes on gender roles, marital counseling, genetic testing for hereditary diseases, personality assessment, principal alignment assessment, and mental and physical exams.
Mm-hmm.
Exams, all to facilitate healthy, lasting marriages. The government will establish marriage bureaus. How do you spell bureau?
Buraeau. EAU.
No, no. So I hate not being able to spell. I'm a horrible speller.
Well, it's a French word. but it ends like O, as in water in French.
Bureaus. To provide classes on gender roles, marital counseling, genetic testing for hereditary diseases, personality assessment, personality compatibility. Assessment, principles alignment assessment, and mental and physical exams, all to facilitate healthy, lasting marriages. Okay. Okay, we finished.
Great! Hooray!
So your definition, you've given them a lot more direction now. So now, okay, first of all, what I want to do is something. I want to do something. Hold on. Hold on. First, I'm spell checking it. Okay, hold on. Got it. Okay, and we're going to say. Okay. Hold on. Just doing something.
Mm.
Just trying to. Hold on, give me. I just need to enter spaces for these things. It's just you want.
Has it generated?
Yes, it's generated, but I just need to fix something. I need to fix the spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Oh, we've been going for a while now.
Yes.
Hold on. Well, we don't have to give up yet, but we can talk about something else for a little bit because I need a break and also I need to make some food because I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What did you say you want me to monologue?
Well, we can talk. Um. It's interesting. You were. What is your thing? You think that there's going to be copycats of this thing? How is of that Jewish convert that killed the pastors because they were idol worshippers?
Oh yes. He's not a convert. He actually said he was Christian. He came
Yeah,
from a Christian background. This Adam
I,
Schiff.
I know, but now I think he's you know
What he's
on.
calling himself a no-hide?
He didn't call himself a Noahide.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah. So, but you seem to be suggesting that he's going to call himself something.
No, you were suggesting that this was some psyop to get us to accept the Noahide laws.
Well, yes. I mean, if the CIA are as evil as people say they are, it's like, well, how are we going to get these Americans to, get over their Christianity and adopt the no-hide laws, which will make them abolish the First Amendment? Well, we're going to, do this, I guess. So people will be, it's a sign of God, of God's wrath. Look at all these, you know, um, these crazy killers. And then eventually it's like, oh, it seems that God is saying we should become no hides. And then they're like, well, okay, here's a referendum. Do you want to become a no hide nation? Surely, you want to be a righteous Gentile. That kind of propaganda.
Yeah.
And then the Muslims can ride to the rescue and say, you don't have to give up your First Amendment because the Quran supports it. And if the Quran supports it, then it would be offensive to God if you refuse his gift of free speech and freedom of belief. So that's how the First Amendment is saved. And then everybody will be so grateful they become Muslim. Islam saved our First Amendment, but the no-hide laws, they were going to abolish it. And also this idea of a Christian amendment, it is not exactly unknown, because in Samoa, they did introduce it, turning Samoa into a Christian republic.
Yeah.
And this is actually quite an old idea. I think that there was a movement to abolish the First Amendment in during the times of the American Civil War, before or after, I can't remember now. I'll look up that Wikipedia entry about Christian amendment.
I gotta go. No, I don't have to go. I was just talking to someone else. So we added a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It seems to be. Well, I mean, we seem to be going over the thing before. Let me just see Christian amendment. It says, Christian amendment describes any of several attempts to amend a country's constitution in order to officially make it a Christian state. In the United States, the most significant attempt to amend the United States Constitution by inserting explicitly Christian ideas and language began during the American Civil War and was spearheaded by the National Reform Association. What did it say?
It doesn't work like that.
Initial proposals. In February 1863, during the American Civil War, a coalition of 11 Protestant denominations from 7 northern states gathered to discuss the state of the nation. Seeing the Civil War as God's punishment for the omission of God from the Constitution, they discussed a proposed amendment to alter the wording of the preamble to acknowledge God. The idea that civil governments derive their legitimacy from God, and Jesus in particular, was alleged to be based on biblical passages such as Psalm 2 and Romans 13. The original draft of the amendment by Pennsylvania attorney John Alexander read, quote, "We, the people of the United States, recognizing the being and attributes of the Almighty God, the divine authority of the Holy Scriptures, the law of God as the paramount rule, and Jesus, the Messiah, the Savior and Lord of all, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Unquote. The Christian Amendment movement was found the next year and quickly renamed the National Reform Association, with Alexander as its first president. They sent a memorial to Congress formally proposing the following amendment. This is John Alexander. Quote, "We, the people of the United States, humbly acknowledging Almighty God as the source of all authority and power in civil government, the Lord Jesus Christ as a ruler among the nations, his revealed will as the supreme law of the land, in order to constitute a Christian government and in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, provide the general welfare, and secure the inalienable rights and the blessings of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to ourselves and our posterity, and all the people do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." A delegation from the National Reform Association sought to meet with Abraham Lincoln on February 11, 1864, to solicit his endorsement of the amendment. Lincoln's pastor, Reverend Phineas Gurney, arranged for Lincoln to meet the delegation. After hearing their petition, Lincoln responded, Quote, the general aspect of your movement I cordially approve. In regard to particulars, I must ask time to deliberate, as the work of amending the Constitution should not be done hastily. I will carefully examine your paper in order more fully to comprehend its contents than is possible from merely hearing it read, and will take such action upon it as my responsibility to our Maker and our country demands. Unquote. The proposal was supported by Senators Charles Sumner, B. Gratz Brown, and John Sherman, but did not come to a vote in Congress. One member of the National Reform Association, James Pollock, played a role in getting the phrase "In God We Trust" on the 2-cent coin in 1864. Another version of the amendment read, quote, we, the people of the United States, humbly acknowledging Almighty God as the source of all authority and power in civil government, the Lord Jesus Christ as governor among the nations, and his revealed will as our supreme authority, in order to constitute a Christian government to form a more perfect union, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Unquote. Similar proposals were considered by Congress in 1874, 1895, 1896, 1910, 1947, 1949, 1951, 1953, 1955, 1956, 1957, 1959, 1961, 1963, 1965, 1967, and 1969, but none passed. Later attempts. With a growing backlash in American society against communism in the 1940s and 1950s, new efforts were made to introduce Christianity into the Constitution, although these efforts were now in the form of standard constitutional amendments. In 1954, Vermont Senator Ralph Sanders proposed, Section 1, this nation devoutly recognizes the authority and law of Jesus Christ, Savior and ruler of nations, through whom are bestowed the blessings of Almighty God. Section 2. This amendment shall not be interpreted so as to result in the establishment of any particular ecclesiastical organization or in the abridgment of the rights of religious freedom or freedom of speech and press or of peaceful assemblage. Section 3. Congress shall have power in such cases as it may deem proper to provide a suitable oath or affirmation for citizens whose religious scruples prevent them from giving unqualified allegiance to the Constitution as herein amended. None of the proposals came to a constitutional vote. There were calls for similar amendments in the wake of the 1962 Reform Supreme Court case Engel and Vitale, which ruled school-sponsored and dictated prayer in schools unconstitutional. Over 200 similar amendment proposals were introduced to Congress between 1894 and 1984. The end.
Okay.
Have you made your thing?
They're almost done. I don't know what's taking them so long.
Oh, you mean grok?
No, my eggs. I'm making eggs.
Oh, right. Yeah, but I mean, looking at these proposed amendments that were never passed, particularly the last one, the one with Section 1, 2, and 3. It's sort of, we want to make this pointless declaration, but we don't want it to infringe on the First Amendment. So, that didn't make sense either. And really, I guess people are going to accuse me of blowing my own trumpet, but I think secular Koranism neatly addresses everything. It's like, it's not an empty declaration. It supports the First Amendment. There is still no official, American religion. But here are the rules, and they make sense in their own right. And if if you're still bothered about God's laws, well, you got it from, a book of rules believed to come from God, which Jefferson owned. So it just sort of dovetails neatly with American history and the intentions of the founding fathers. Because, I mean, the founding fathers would, well, I imagine they would be turning in their graves if they thought they, I guess they would turn in their graves if Americans decided to crown a king or, and then have a Church of America or, decided to become a Catholic country, which I suppose is possible since you now have an American Pope. But then you basically be turning back to time to 250 years ago approximately, because I mean the whole point of the American Republic was to say no more monarchy. We've had it up to here with stupid kings who were just entitled and incompetent, because the founding fathers were living in the reign of George III. He was mad. Well, he had to be. I guess I can read you the life of George III. The Madness of King George. There was a play about that, which I quite enjoyed. Well, it's a movie, actually. It's a 1984 film. Let me see the nature of his madness. The Regency crisis of 1788. It triggered a power struggle between factions of Parliament under the Tory Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger and the reform-minded leader of the opposition Charles James Fox. Let's see. Okay, I don't think is it well documented or not, his madness. No, I should look up George III, really. Okay. Oh, he had 15 children, King George. So what were the times that he lived through? George's life and reign were marked by a series of military conflicts involving his kingdoms, much of the rest of Europe, and places farther afield in Africa, the Americas, and Asia. Early in his reign, Great Britain defeated France in the 7 Years' War, becoming the dominant European power in North America and India. However, Britain lost 13 of its North American colonies in the American War of Independence. Further wars against revolutionary and Napoleonic France from 1793 concluded in the defeat of Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. In the later part of his life, George had recurrent and eventually permanent mental illness. The exact nature of the mental illness is not known definitively, but historians and medical experts have suggested that his symptoms and behavior traits were consistent with either bipolar disorder or porphyria. Not sure what that is. I can look it up. Porphyria is a group of disorders in which substances called porphyrins build up in the body, adversely affecting the skin or nervous system. Symptoms of an attack include abdominal pain, chest pain, vomiting, confusion, constipation, fever, high blood pressure, and high heart rate. The attacks usually last for days to weeks. So it's sort of more physical than mental. Let me continue. In 1810, George suffered a final relapse, and his eldest son, the Prince of Wales, was named Prince Regent the following year. The king died aged 81, at which time the regent succeeded him as George IV. George III reigned during much of the Georgian and Regency eras. At the time of his death, he was the longest lived and longest reigning British monarch, having reigned for 59 years and 96 days. He remains the longest lived and longest reigning male monarch in British history. He actually learned science,
Yeah.
He studied. He was first British monarch to study science systematically.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Okay, we've done a lot of that. So I don't know. I want to take a break, but maybe we can space in a little bit.
Okay.
Or you can start a space if you want in a little bit, and I'll join.
Alrighty.
Or I'll start a space. We'll see. But I just need a break.
Sure. Well, thanks for all your help so far, and yeah, speak in a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.